Hello, loves. It's Hills from the Blue Flame Apothecary. Happy full moon in Pisces. It is almost at the peak. We are about 10, 12 hours away as I'm recording this from the peak energy. And this is a big lunar cycle because within this lunar cycle, we also get the Libra equinox. The new moon is 2 days later. So it's really this like transitional energy that's coming through. One of the first things that I'll share about this particular full moon is it is a great one for any ceremonies, any clearing out and bringing in the new. If that's something that feels like where you would like to go, then this would be a perfect full moon. Always use your internal compass and your guide and your connection to your guides and your higher self when tuning in to figure out what might serve most. But the energies around this particular full moon and the equinox are really great for helping you to release old stuck energy and bring in new energy. One of the ways that we're going to kind of explore this is through a fascinating and amazing templating that's happening over the course of this moon and into the equinox. And that's that we have 3 grand crosses. We have a grand cross in every single modality. Before we jump into that, let's take a look really quick. What does that mean, a modality? So in astrology, there are the triplicities, as they're often called. There is the fixed signs, there is the mutable signs, and there are the cardinal signs. Each element has a sign that is either fixed, cardinal, or mutable. When we're feeling into this, and I'm going to share links in the description because I've done a couple of videos on the fixed energy and I've done a video on the cardinal energy, and so that can help also as you're feeling into all of this energy. But we'll say cardinal energy is about birthing new. It's about bringing new in. Each cardinal sign is the sign that starts a new season. Whatever that new may be, it could be new as in spring, or new as in summer, or new as in fall, or new as in winter. So if you can feel into what each of those seasons represent, you can kind of get a feel for what it means to be in cardinal energy, that rebirth, or even allowing for the falling away. If you're coming into winter, it might mean going internal, hibernating like a bear. But that is a rebirth itself. The mutable signs represent endings. Virgo is a mutable sign, where the sun is right now. When we feel into mutable energy, it is the end of a season. It is the end of a chapter. So closing the door on something so that the new can come in would be a way to feel into mutable energy. And fixed is where we have just come through. It's that Leo energy is part of fixity. And it's those transitional, those sometimes subtle seeming transitional energies where one of the ways that I've talked about it is February is the shortest month of the year, but it's Aquarius, which is a fixed sign. So somehow, even though we've made February this tiny little month, it can feel so long, especially if you live in a place where February is a winter month. It can feel really long. I'm originally from Wisconsin. February felt long there. So let's go into now what is happening with these crosses over the full moon and over the equinox, because there's this really interesting transition, and it feels to me like it's telling us the story. It's telling us a story of what we can expect for the rest of this year and into the early part of next year. One could say for the rest of this astrological new year. So interestingly, we are being called back with that cardinal grand cross to the astrological new year, to the new moon in Aries, when we had a cardinal grand cross of creator beings. 3 of these creator beings have been in a T-square this whole time. They are asteroids, and they move very, very slow. We have Quawa in Libra. I'm sorry, no, we don't. We have Maki Maki in Libra. Quawa is in Capricorn. So we're gonna we have Quawa in Capricorn. We have Maki Maki in Libra, like I said. And interestingly, where Maki Maki is also where Mercury is now in Libra. So Mercury is adding a little oomph to this energy. And the sun between the full moon and the equinox will move from one grand cross energy into the other grand cross energy, which is pretty amazing as well, because the sun will be shifting from Virgo into Libra. Over in Cancer, we have Hecate, the guardian of the crossroads, the torchbearer, triple goddess energy, is lighting a pathway, opening the door, as it were, to this particular grand cross. And Hecate is the one that is reactivating this grand cross. It's over in Aries. We have Jupiter and Salacia. So the original Aries new moon actors in this particular square dance, the participants, are that Salacia in Aries, Quawa in Capricorn, and Maki Maki in Libra. So we have 3 new activators coming in, with Jupiter sitting with Salacia now, expanding that Aries rebirth energy, with Mercury and the sun coming in a couple of weeks, activating the connection and the balance energy. And then we have Hecate, who's rounding out that square, coming in to where Lilith was back in the Aries new moon, to shine the light for us. So as we start to feel into the other 2 grand crosses, one of the things that feels really important to highlight is this is a Pisces new moon, or full moon. This is a Pisces full moon. So we have the moon in the final sign of the zodiac, bringing attention, highlighting a grand cross that started during the Aries new moon. So we're being given the opportunity to kind of look back at where we've been over these last 6 months or so, and also to start to look at where we're going by the end of the astrological year. As we feel that, let's also feel that this particular cross is going to be active for almost the entire month of September, and it's going to keep getting reactivated as well. I know that I keep saying that we're almost out of fixed grand crosses, and we are, I promise, we are. But, as fixed signs will, it takes a little bit of time for that seed to unfurl and start to grow roots, right? A lot of it is in the unseen. Well, this time we have, much like we did in the last moon cycle, the new moon, the Virgo new moon, we have Uranus and Hygeia crossing each other, across from each other. Over in Leo, we have Isis has now joined the party. And over in Aquarius, we have Saturn. So one of the interesting things about this particular Grand Cross is that the squares are exact. Like Isis is exactly square to Uranus. And Hygeia is exactly square to Saturn. And then we have Ceres, Demeter, in Leo as well, making an exact square to Hygeia, and then exactly across from Saturn. So there's this energy of shifting, and that's what fixity is about, right? It's these subtle shifts, these little movements to help gradually bring in something new. It's that expansion of allowing the seed to unfurl, allowing the seed to unfurl. As we feel this, we can also start to feel into that this is going to be exact on the full moon. So Friday into Saturday, Saturday into Sunday, depending on your time zone and where you're located. And then it's going to start to shift out, subtly shift out of exactitude. And by the equinox, it's going to basically be gone. And the strongest energy then is going to be the mutable. It's going to be the mutable Grand Cross. So we're subtly shifting into the ending of something. We're subtly shifting into the ending of something. So let's look really quickly at the mutable Grand Cross. We have Venus in Virgo. Venus has entered Virgo and is moving closer and closer to the sun, and soon they will meet. We have Medusa and Magdalena. And on the equinox, Medusa will once again be dancing upon the galactic center. That's amazing energy. They're in Sagittarius. We have Mars and Gemini. And Mars is also conjunct to another asteroid named after an Aboriginal dream time, the holder of big dreaming energy, Altashira. And then we have Neptune in Pisces. Now, interestingly, on the full moon, Neptune and the moon will be conjunct. But by the time that this Grand Cross shifts into alignment, the moon will have shifted out. So it's like the moon is coming in and shining a big spotlight on our dreams. And Neptune is saying, okay, we can dream and we can transcend. And then we can allow the spotlight to be removed so that the night can settle in, so that the old can fall away, so that we can start to let go. So that we can start to let go. We can say goodbye. The feeling of this, there's this sense within all of this of patience, of the patience of love. And almost that patience of awaiting the gestation of a new baby. And the cardinal running through line through the entirety of this cycle is that reminder that it is always being created, right? That energy of the seed, even if the leaves fall upon a very, very young little seedling, it's not gone. It's just being blanketed and hidden from our view. It's still growing, and it's actually being protected from the cold and from the elements that might hurt it, snow maybe, as the leaves fall upon it. There's a Shams poem that feels really connected to the energy of these three grand crosses that we're moving through. And it feels like a really good way to kind of allow for a meditation on these energies, allow for the subtleness that's giving way to allow the ending, as all of this rebirth and creative energy, this new, is being built in the midst of it all, through it all, running through it all. And that is this reminder that love is patience. Love is patience. And part of that is being able to look upon the thorn and see the rose. To look upon the thorn and see the rose. The thorn could be viewed in this sense as that which is falling away, the endings, the things that are going away. And as you look at that thorn, can you also see, feel, smell, and know that that rose is there? Can you allow for that rose and for its thorn? For night and for day. I didn't get really neatly into each of these different archetypes that's in these crosses. I have a feeling that that's coming, but it really felt more important to begin us down this journey with the knowing that there's subtle shifts happening. There's subtle shifts happening that are bringing us to an ending. And that ending, you know, goodbyes can be hard. Goodbyes can be hard. But, you know, like the thorn, there's a rose attached. And that rose is that through all of these subtle shifts and these sometimes not so subtle shifts of ending, we are birthing the new always. We're birthing the new from within these fallings away. I spoke a lot more about this in the Cosmic Light Drops update. I'll put a link below. It got published yesterday. I also really want to share, I have been guided to host an all-day event on the equinox. And I can feel it's big because my throat chakra is going. On the equinox, there is going to be a huge activation of blue flame energy is what's come through. And as part of this, in the Blue Flame members portal, I'm going to be facilitating an event. And some of it will be live and over Zoom, and others will be things that are pre-recorded, but it's an entire day of activities that is going to be going on. And it's available to every member of the Blue Flame portal. It would be so amazing to have anyone who feels that call come and check it out. You know, come get a feel for what's in the portal. You know, and see if it's something that calls. I've also been guided to make the Blue Flame Frequency Program available to all members of the portal, because it's Patreon, so there's tiers, but this event is available to everyone. And all of the aspects around this event will be available to everyone. There is this frequency of divine love held within the blue flame. It is what the blue flame is. And there is, it feels like this is part of that thread. This is part in some ways of that Cardinal Grand Cross energy. This is us building the new, helping elevate the earth grid with a frequency of divine love that will help carry us through all of the falling away that is happening. I will pop on again in the next day or two to share more about the equinox event, to share more about the equinox in general. This energy of the equinox, it is always a rebalancing, especially that Libra equinox. But this particular one feels like there's a big activation of choice happening. This full moon has a big activation of choice happening. Which path do you want to take? We have Hecate, very active on this full moon and on the equinox. Which path do you want to take? We also have the moon in a conjunction with Neptune. What are the unconscious, subconscious choices that you're making? That was a big theme for this cycle. And maybe that's the ritual, maybe that's the ceremony that you have on this full moon, is connecting into how you make decisions, how you make choices. Do you make them from here, from your heart? Do you make them from the voices that tell you what you're supposed to do? You meant what you should be doing? Or is it from here and from the deep heart connection to the wisdom mind, to your true higher self and your innate sovereignty, to your innate sovereignty? As opposed to the sovereignty of one that might rule over you. I suppose we had to say that since the Queen died yesterday in the UK. Helping all of us say, okay, maybe it's about rulership of self as opposed to rulership over other. I mean, I have no real qualms with Queen Elizabeth, but I'm not a royalist either. I'm more about how can you find that sovereignty, that queendom and that kingdom, that innate true power within yourself. And there's a lot of energy right now for helping us to remember that we are our own power. We do not need to seek it outside of self. We do not need others to subjugate themselves to us in order to have it. We are the power for ourselves, and then we can recognize that every single being and every single leaf on every single tree is its own innate power. Every ant is its own innate power. There's so much love on offer right now. So much healing energy. The Sun and Venus are meeting in Virgo. We get to experience all of this embodied existence and be calling in ever more of our divine starlight, our true selves. And we get to experience all of this physicality and all of this light. That is fucking amazing. Wow. Beautiful love. Beautiful love. On that note, I think we will say, as always and in always, so much and many loves to you from all the dimensions.